I mean, is quit the wrong word?
Yeah.
Like, why did you decide to come
it's
back?
like asking someone, why did you get divorced? That's the kind of
I
question.
mean, I apologize for the
no,
word
no, no,
quiz.
no. It's a good question, but I'm saying like that's what it felt like, a divorce. Like that's how it felt.
So what was the impetus to do it in the first place?
Falling in love.
How old were you?
I became a monk after I graduated, so 21 going on 22.
Okay, so you're at university.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? Finance is not for me.
Yes.
It's the monk life I want.
Yes. And the reason for doing it was as simple, to demystify it, was my role models became monks. As soon as I met the monks in my late teenage years, the role models became monks. I was so inspired by the way they lived because they told me that they were focused on two things. One was mastering the mind and serving others. And I thought, what better pursuits in the world than mastering your emotions, your envy, your jealousy, your greed, your lust, your anger, and your illusion, and the ability to use all your gifts and skills in the service of others. Mm-hmm. And I'd also met CEOs and finance directors and hedge fund managers. And just at that time, no one really spoke to me the way they did. And so I think it was the first real male role models I had that inspired that path. And then what made me leave was the realization that I couldn't do it. Like the actual realization that monk training is meant to make you self-aware through all of that training. And when you get that much self-awareness and realize that I'm not a monk in my own self-awareness, it's probably the harshest thing. So it's almost like saying, I want to love you for the rest of my life. But by loving you, I realized that's not where I'm meant to be. And that was shown to me physically and emotionally. So physically, my health broke down. It was super tough on my body. It was really hard to live communally. You're often sleeping in rooms of 30 to 100 people, whether it's flus, viruses, people getting up at different times. I'm a light sleeper, all of that on the body. And then emotionally and mentally, I was like, I'm more of a rebel. I like the rules, but I want them to fit into my life this way. And I like the discipline, but I'd prefer to tweak it a little. And that honesty of, I'm someone who wants to make these teachings more pliable into my own life as someone who believes I'm a modern person from London. And I'd love to help other people do that too. So
but what's
that's the quick
interesting,
answer.
I mean, but what's impressive is you lasted 3 years.
Yes.
I'm not sure I would have lasted 3 months.
I'm glad I lasted 3 years. Yeah, it was, well, I wanted to do it for the rest of my life. It was a genuine desire to do it forever. And when it came crashing down 3 years later, I really felt like a failure. It didn't feel like a success then. Now looking back, I think 3 years was great. But at that time, leaving was the worst feeling.